All right, let's talk about something that can be a real headache for anyone working in R, stratified analysis. We're going to dive into a super clever R package that makes this whole process, well, simple. The star of the show today is stratastats.
So picture this. You're trying to analyze stratified 2x2 tables in R. You've got a relationship you want to understand, maybe between two variables like survival and gender. But you also know you need to check how that relationship holds up across different groups or strata, say passenger class on the Titanic. The question is, how do you actually do that in R?
If you've ever tried, you're probably nodding your head right now. It's usually this messy, manual process, right? You're bouncing between a bunch of different functions, running tests one by one, and then you've got to try to piece it all together into something that actually makes sense. It's frustrating.
I mean, this is what it usually looks like, right? The old way. First, you run a chi-squared test for every single one of your strata. Then, you run a totally separate Cochran-Mantel-Haenszel test. After that, you're still not done. You have to run more tests for homogeneity. Finally, you're left with this pile of results that you have to manually stick together and pray you can interpret the whole disjointed mess. It's just so tedious.
It just makes you think, there has to be a better way. A more elegant solution. What if you could do all of that? Everything we just mentioned, all at once? Well, you can. And that's where we get to formally introduce the hero of this story, the stratastats package. It really is that more elegant way.
So what is stratastats? Well, think of it as this single, powerful function that does a totally comprehensive stratified analysis for you. It calculates the odds ratios, it runs all those tests from that messy old workflow, and this is the best part, it spits out this beautiful publication-ready table that even gives you interpretations. It's the whole shebang in one function.
And that's the real game changer here. With just one single command, you get everything. All the tests you need, all in one go. You get the odds ratios with their confidence intervals, you get the chi-squared tests, the Cochran-Mantel-Haenszel, the homogeneity tests, and it's all presented in a clean table with notes that help you figure out what it all means. It just makes the whole process so much more efficient.
Okay, so let's see this thing in action. We're going to use a data set that pretty much everyone knows, the Titanic survival data. We'll look at the relationship between gender and survival, but stratified by passenger class. Let's see what happens.
And this is it. This is the code. You can forget that whole 5-step nightmare from before. All you need is this one line to run the entire analysis. You just give it your data, tell it the names of your variables, and tell it which variable you're stratifying by. That is it. Seriously.
And boom, this is what you get. Let's take a second to appreciate this table. This is just the top part of the output. It's so clean, it's clear, and it gives you the odds ratio for each passenger class, plus the overall marginal and the Mansell-Hansel common odds ratio. You can instantly see how much the odds of survival change depending on the class.
But now, look at the bottom half of that same table. This is where the story gets really interesting. You get all your test results, summarized neatly with p-values. But check out Part E, the automated interpretation. It tells you exactly what those homogeneity tests mean. The guesswork is just gone.
Okay, so you've got this incredible output. But what does it all really mean? This is where the package really truly shines. It doesn't just run the tests for you, it actually helps you understand them.
So the huge concept here is homogeneity versus heterogeneity. If your results are homogeneous, it means the relationship you're studying is pretty much the same across all your groups. The common odds ratio is a good summary. But if you have heterogeneity, like we do in our Titanic example, it means the strength or even the direction of that relationship changes across your strata. That stratifying variable is what we call an effect modifier, and just using a single common odds ratio would actually be misleading.
And just think about what it takes to get to that insight. To figure out if you have heterogeneity, you normally have to run a whole battery of specific tests. This package just handles it. We're talking more than 7 critical statistical outputs, all calculated and summarized in that one single command.
And this is the magic right here. This quote on the screen, it's taken directly from the package's output for our Titanic data.
It's a plain English summary of a pretty complex statistical finding. It tells you what's happening, you've got heterogeneity, and what it means, that passenger class changes the strength of the link between gender and survival. This saves so much time and helps you avoid misinterpreting your results.
So, are you feeling empowered? You should be. Now it's your turn. You can put this to work on your own data, and getting started, honestly, just takes a couple of moments.
It's really just 3 simple steps. First, you install the package from CRN. Second, you load the library. Third, you just run the function on your own data. It's that easy to go from that cluttered, annoying process to a single, powerful command.
So I'll leave you with this. We just saw how passenger class completely changes the story of survival on the Titanic. Stratastats makes finding these kinds of interactions, these hidden stories, so much simpler than it's ever been before. So the real question is, what hidden story will you uncover in your data?